In Lodebar in life. Sometimes we have sicknesses in our bodies, and some of us we're dealing with things that people don't even realize that we're dealing with. We're dealing with high blood pressure and sugar diabetes and high cholesterol and low blood, and just all type of things are going on. This can put you in a Lodebar state when this is going on for a really long time. The things that put us in Lodebar is hurt and disappointment and death, and there's mourning sometime. I know that most of us have lost people by death, and some of us are going through the mourning process, and that happens and it goes on a long time. Sometimes you have had a job and you don't have that job anymore. You don't have the money that you're used to, so you're full of tears and weariness, and this is a Lodebar state. There's pain and there's suffering in Lodebar. We go through depression, and depression brings on oppression, and oppression brings on suppression, and then people have a way of putting us in Lodebar. People, out of their mouths, they're not saying anything good, so they began to criticize us, and that can put us in Lodebar. And then they began to scandalize your name and your character, and they ostracize everything that you do. So there's so much heartache in Lodebar. Now we have to decide whether we are going to ride or die. So down in Lodebar, you can stay too long. And when you stay too long in Lodebar, some things began to happen to your character. So what happens to your character? You become mean and angry. You're no longer possessing the fruits of the Spirit, but you are working in the devices of the enemy. So then you become bitter and you become frustrated in Lodebar, and you become cantankerous and evil and cranky and hateful in Lodebar. You become selfish and prideful, and when these things began to happen to you, you are no longer possessing the fruits of the Spirit. But how many of you know that we have to change our mindset? Because if you don't change your mindset, then you're going to stay in Lodebar. You have to realize who you are and whose you are. So then we have to go to the Word of God, because in Lodebar there is death. In Lodebar you are dying. But when you go to the Word of God, you began to tell yourself that I have to glory in my tribulation. Because if I glory in my tribulation, then I know that my tribulation will start working out some patience in me.